Hey everyone, Nut Free Mama here. Today I'm going to show you how to make Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes. Okay, let's start off with our ingredients. First you're going to need 1 pound of ground beef, or turkey, or chicken, whatever you want to use. But basically I just flattened it out in my pan, and I am going to go ahead and start to brown that while we talk about the other ingredients here. But you just want to make it flat because we are going to have to really brown it. You want it to get really brown and crunchy on one side. So next you need 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 small onion diced, 1 green pepper diced, 8 ounces of brown mushrooms minced. So I just got one of these cans from Kroger and drained it and just cut it up. So there's that. Then you're going to need 2 tablespoons of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, a tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 cup of beef broth, 8 ounces of provolone cheese slices, and we're going to chop those up, and then some kind of yummy buns, whatever you want to do. And like I said, so first we're going to add our ground whatever meat you want to use to a large skillet and brown it until a deep brown crust forms before you break it apart. Okay, my beef is really starting to cook, so I just cut it into fourths so I could flip it easier. I went ahead and flipped 1, but it's not quite ready yet, so I'm going to let these ones cook a little bit longer before I flip them. Alright, all of my beef is flipped now, and I'm just going to let it cook for a couple more minutes on this side, and then go ahead and crumble it. I did forget to mention that I am using about 1.5 pounds of meat, but the recipe only calls for 1 pound, so like I said, you could use 1 pound, or I wanted to add more, so I used 1.5 pounds. Alright, now my meat is crumbling nicely. I'm just taking a spatula and kind of chopping it up here, and we're just going to let it cook through. You want to maybe cook it longer than you normally would if you're making tacos or something like that, because you kind of want a little bit of the brown crunchiness still in there. Okay, my beef is completely brown now, but I am going to refrain from removing it or stirring it any longer, and I'm just going to let it brown on the other side just for a few more minutes. Alright, that looks good to me, so I went ahead and turned down my heat a bit, and now I'm going to remove all of the ground beef, but you want to leave in your fat into this pan. Okay, now to the same pan, we're going to go ahead and add our butter. So you can see I still have some of the fat in there. I didn't get all of it, but we still have a good amount of fat. So we're going to melt this butter, and then I'm going to add in all of these yummy veggies right here. Okay, all my veggies are in, so I turned my heat back up to medium, and we're going to let those cook without touching them at all for at least 2 minutes before we flip them. Alright, this has been cooking for 2 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and try to flip it over and cook it an additional 2 minutes. Alright, my peppers, onions, and mushrooms have been cooking for about 4 or 5 minutes now, but I'm going to let them cook longer. I really don't want them to be super crunchy. I want them to be nice and soft when I put them back in with the beef, so I'm going to cook mine longer than the recipe calls for. Alright, that looks good to me, so I am going to go ahead and add this back to my beef mixture and switch pots here. I just didn't have a pan big enough. Okay, my peppers, onions, and mushrooms are back in with my beef, and I'm just going to let that cook here while I make my broth. So you want to take your 1 cup of beef broth and add that to your tablespoon of cornstarch and just mix it. Alright, that is nice and mixed. Now I'm going to go back over to my pot, and I am going to add in my ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, my beef broth mixture that I just made, and add that all to my pan. Alright, everything is mixed in, so we are going to let this cook 3 to 5 minutes. You want 75% of it to be above the liquid. So you can see all the liquid down there. You want a lot of that to evaporate. That is bubbling up nicely. I have about 4 minutes left, so I am going to go ahead and toast my buns. And I got these potato buns. You can get whatever kind of buns you like. Alright, that looks good to me, so I am turning off the heat, and I am going to slide this over so it's not on that hot burner and add my cheese. I'm just shredding up my cheese with my hands, just, breaking it up into pieces and then stirring it in. Alright, these are ready to go. We're just waiting on our buns to get out of the oven, and we'll see what Taste Tester thinks. Taste Tester, have a little taste.
Okay.
That's why it's called Sloppy Joes. Sloppy.
Yum. Yummy.
You like it?
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Come back and see us again. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.